Oh, hi guys. Welcome back. Episode 5. That's kind of wild. Um for those of you that are new, my name is Emily and this is okay but listen with me. So this episode is kind of a lot. There's a lot to unpack here. I If you hear Norman in the background, he's being Norman. So, apologies. This episode, I promised you that I would be talking about situationships, and that's exactly what we're going to be talking about today. Um, I would like to preface the fact that I'm not coming on here and talking about this to call anybody out, anybody that's been involved with me in this kind of manner. This isn't me calling you out or saying everything. Okay, Norman, just give him a moment. This isn't me calling anybody out or specifically trying to make somebody look bad. I genuinely have all love on my end for anybody I was ever involved with, um, romantically or otherwise. So, with that being said, let's get into it. So, I want to first talk about why situationships are a thing. Why do they even exist? And at first, I thought that it was kind of more of just a Gen Z type thing, something that we've normalized. But my favorite thing in the world is like 90s and early 2000s rom coms. And from what I can tell, situationships have actually been around for quite a while. I'm talking about Carrie and Mr. Big specifically. Okay. If you know, you know. Um, and I've narrowed it down to a couple reasons on why they exist, why they're a thing, and why they're still around. Um, First one being commitment issues. Now, when I say commitment issues, I usually think of men because it's usually their problem and usually something that they struggle with, at least from my experience. Because at least on my end, commitment issues aren't something I'm familiar with. I'm a super loyal person and somebody that's like if I meet you and I end up caring about you in a really serious way, I'm like already committed. Like whether you are or not. I'm in it for the long haul. That's just my personality. So, I've never struggled with being committed to anybody because again, life's too short not to really fully care about somebody, especially if they're worth it. And if they're not worth it, well, obviously they needed that love or something. I don't know. Um why are situationships a thing? Is it because the people involved are scared to get hurt? It sounds so cliche and just so like movie-esque, but um I feel like people think that at least they think like subconsciously that situationships are kind of a way around a potential breakup and like a heart-wrenching breakup. But if there's anything that I've noticed is that actually some of the worst heartbreak that I've experienced in my life has been from situationships. So I feel like although this might be like an idea that we have, it's not actually reality because at the end of the day, if you care about somebody and you're invested in somebody, obviously there's going to be hurt when it either doesn't work out or it just doesn't go according to plan or how you hoped. So, LOL. And I also think that situationships are just kind of they're really there to ensure the inevitable breakup. Like in relationships, obviously you always take a gamble. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. With situationships, I feel like it's just inevitable. Like it's kind of a guarantee that things aren't going to work out because when a relationship does come from a situationship, what ends up happening? Usually it's somebody giving the other person an ultimatum. And I don't know any good relationship that's ever started with an ultimatum. And I would know. I'm the queen of ultimatums. So more about that later. Kidding. No. Um, but and I also feel like, okay, one of the biggest things is that situationships are kind of used for like a way around the rules. So like, things that wouldn't be okay in a relationship are deemed okay because you don't have a defined relationship. You're not anything technically. So things like cheating is obviously there's no definition to cheating if you're not actually in a relationship. And I think that that's just kind of screwed up because obviously if you're committed to somebody, you're not really going to be looking at other people. But if the other person's not, and it's just kind of one of those situations, and then they go and like start fooling around with somebody else, obviously that's going to create the same effect as cheating does. Only I feel like it's almost worse because if you are on that side of being cheated on, you feel like you can't react. Like you're not allowed, like your feelings aren't valid because technically you're not together. So you should be just cool with everything. I hate that. It's a nonchalant world for people who are made to be non people who are made let me try that again. It is a nonchalant world for people who are made to be chalant. And I'm not about it. Because I'm a very chalant person. So Um, another thing about why situationships are even a thing is does a person actually not like the other person? Like like it's always been kind of like a question of mine, at least in some of there's one situationship that I can think of where this I genuinely wondered if this was the case where um I knew that this other person was talking to multiple people and I just kind of started to wonder like do they actually like me? Am I just, you know, around because I like this person and I'm c- committed to this person, so I will change plans for them. I will not make plans for this person. I will just be ready and available and obviously they know that. So do they not actually like me as much as I think they do, but I'm just available? Question. Um, but it is something that I think about that could be the reasoning behind some situationships. I just feel like people are lonely nowadays and they tend to take what they can get and yeah. Okay. And then obviously laziness I feel like definitely plays a part. Um I feel like I've heard the excuse a lot of that. They just don't have the time or whatever to put in the effort necessary for a relationship. And here's the thing. Here's the thing. I feel like when you really like the person and you're really into that person and you care about them on a deep level, you're not going to be concerned about how much effort you need to put in. That's just going to happen naturally and you're going to want to do that and you're going to make time to do that. So for all my girlies out there, if somebody is telling you I'm too busy or I wouldn't be a good boyfriend because I don't have like I can't give you as much attention as you probably need or you deserve, they're not the one for you, sis. Okay. And now, this entire episode, I'm going to watch back myself because I need to take this advice just as much as the next person because it's tough out there. It's tough out there. Okay, let's talk about why we women are okay with situationships. At least from my experience. I had to do a whole reflection for this part of the episode because I really wanted to kind of dive into the reasoning behind why women put up with situationships because obviously women, I mean both women and men are meant for deep connections and deep commitments, but and at least like we want that. We like that's something that we desire, and I just really feel like what is the reasoning behind why women are okay with it? So these are the things that I came up with from situationships I've been involved in. And okay, when I say all the situationships I've been involved in, I promise I'm not a hoe. Okay, just gonna put that out there. I think it really has to do. The biggest thing just has to be mental state. Like when I was in like my most toxic situationships, I feel like my mental state was just absolutely egregious. Like where I thought the worst of myself. I just was not in a good headspace and was definitely not ready for a relationship, let alone um any involvement with anybody because I really looking back, I really just needed to fix myself and heal myself before I could even think about trying to find another person. But alas, that's not what happened. And so in those moments, I think I definitely resorted to the whole like, I'll take what I can get because I'm lonely. I feel really low, and this person is hyping up my self esteem, and it works. That's been a thing. Also, I feel like this is definitely just more so women specific because I hear about this all the time. Is that women tend to pick out a man and they see his potential, they see all the great things in him and all of the great things that he can be. And subconsciously, they think that they can be the one to highlight those things and bring out those things in that person. And yeah, it's along the lines of I can fix him. No, really, I can. Um, and I think the intention behind that is so lovely. Like, how amazing are we women to want to sacrifice ourselves so that a man potentially finds his like how do I say this? I feel like we definitely put ourselves on the back burner in order to try and fix a specific man or um we build him up while tearing ourselves down. Wow, that's poetic. A little too deep for today. But I see it all the time. Like like us girls are so quick to throw our needs and our wants aside so that this man who is just taking everything that he can get it potentially like becomes this vision that we have of him, and I have been there, done that, and I'm sorry, but now I'm going to hold your hand when I say this, but I feel like I don't want somebody that needs to be fixed. I want somebody that obviously I can be of help to and that I can, you know, support, but I don't want to fix somebody. This isn't Build a Bear. I don't want to create you and then that's just I don't know. It just seems messy and I wish I had thought about this years ago, but and also how do you expect the man to be the man when he was created by the girl. Like when he like you know what I mean? Like I think there's something so attractive about a man that prioritizes his well-being and his character and takes care of himself and tries to make himself a better version. I just really think that there's something so attractive about that. Because obviously if I see a man doing that, you know, and he's actively trying to make himself better, I like that because I know that he's going to try and do that for me. He's going to support me in trying to make me a better person. Okay, now this is getting preachy. Um and then okay, so let's kind of dive into some specifics that I have learned, some lessons I have learned from previous situationships. Now again, I'm going to preface I am in no way trying to call anybody out. I have all love in from me, all love from over here for everybody, okay? But if this can just reach one person, find it relatable, find it helpful, whatever, I'll be happy. Okay. My pants are bubbling really weirdly, so I apologize. I don't know how to fix it. They're just gonna be like that. Okay. Um first first thing that I thought of when thinking back to all of my previous situationships, because there's been a couple. Um I think the biggest thing that I thought of was how I just wanted to feel wanted and I wanted to feel loved. And the first person that gave me that feeling, I just clung to. And I think how sad that I didn't have that for myself, you know? Um that I couldn't love myself enough to feel that just within myself. And I think a lot of women struggle with this is that they just want to feel seen, they want to feel special, they want to feel all of those things, and when a man gives you that feeling, even no matter how slight it is, if you just get a little sprinkle of that feeling, if you are down bad mentally, you will cling to that so hard, and I am definitely a victim of that. And I think, you know, I just really have learned how important it is to love myself first before I go looking for love from somebody else. And how beautiful of a lesson, you know? Easier said than done, for sure, because it's really hard, especially like in your teenage years, early 20s. I mean, it's hard regardless of how old you are, but before you like actually know who you are, I feel like it's really hard to love yourself, because if you don't know who you are, how are you supposed to love yourself when you don't know who that is? And I feel like when I was like trying to figure out who I was, that's when I had my most toxic situationships and relationships, because I didn't know who I was, didn't love myself, and I let other people fill that void for me. And that was mistake number 1. Okay. Second, I learned that I want oh yeah. Um that I wanted to be loved as much as I was loving that person. Pretty self-explanatory, but I feel like especially in situationships, a lot of it is one-sided, and it's usually just resulting in one person giving and giving and giving, and the other person taking and taking and taking, while giving little reassurance things that make that person continue to give. And I just think Like Phyllis from The Office said, I feel like we all deserve to be with somebody. I forget word for word what she says, but it's like we all deserve to be with somebody who loves us as much as we love them, essentially. And that's so true. As simple as that is. But and I feel like as much love that I have within me that I know I'm ready to give to somebody else, I it like makes me so giddy in thinking that there might be somebody out there who also has that same capacity to love, and like how amazing will that feel to find that person that gives just as much if not more than me. Like oh, anyways. Uh yeah, and then also and this has been a recent lesson of mine is that I personally really want somebody who pushes and drives me to be a better person. Now, that sounds cliche, that sounds basic. Let me explain a little bit further into that because it's too broad. In previous relationships, I have had I've been lucky enough to have the experience where I've been with somebody who has pushed me to be a better person in the aspect of like my career and my finances and, you know, my health and wellness and everything like that. And they were really supportive of me, you know, in that aspect. And I think that that is so important. And it is definitely something that I want in my future husband, but more important more importantly than that, I've learned that I want somebody that really pushes me to be a better person in the way of prioritizing my soul and my character. I want somebody who, you know, makes me a better person by the type of person I am. Like I want to be kind, I want to be humble, I want to be grateful and all of those things and full of virtue. And this might sound really preachy and really like, all right, Emily, but it seriously for me, that's been a really big thing of mine is that if you don't, if you're not going to help me strengthen my soul and my character, what's the point? What is the point? Because yes, I can have my finances in order, I can have my career, in order and everything like that, but if me as a person is just kind of stagnant, I don't want that. And okay, so I really have been so lucky because I have recently been able to have the experience of knowing somebody that I got really close to, and um they really just inspired me to prioritize my soul and my character, and they really pushed me to and I don't even know if they know this or not, which is also kind of a beautiful thing. But I've always wanted to have a stronger relationship in like with God and in my faith and things like that. And I think, when I was in college and even a little bit afterwards, it definitely was kind of put on the back burner. And it's been something that has been eating at me that I've really wanted to grow, but I just have really struggled to do it myself. And this man really inspired me to go back to church and read my Bible and journal and really try and grow in the kind of person I am within my faith and just really prioritize my character because I saw how he handled um situations like like drama and negative things, and I saw how it just kind of rolled off of him and how he handled it, and I thought it was really graceful, and he just and every person I talked to that knew him only said good things about him, and he constantly said that he wants to make himself better, he wants to be a better person, and he really prioritized his character, and he also prioritized his faith, And that was something that it just kind of was like a light bulb moment of like, you know what? Yeah, if I want a man like this, I got to get myself right. I got to get back to church. I got to, get right with God before cuz how am I going to find a godly man if I'm not even a godly woman? So, that's definitely very specific to just me. I Not a lot of people prioritize that, and that's fine. But um I just really wanted to share that of how lucky, to have learned that lesson because now my future husband will hopefully have a really godly wife and somebody that is full of character and has a really strong faith and not quite there yet, but I'm working on it. And I think that's the most important thing. But anyways, so how beautiful. I just think it's beautiful. Um and also, let's raise the standard for the bare minimum. Can we do that as a collective? Can we um I just feel like a man that gives you attention, that responds to your text quickly, that um gosh, I'm trying to think of that takes you out to dinner. I'm sorry. Can you not lick my iPad? Sit down. Sit. Thank you. I feel like the we need to create a new bare minimum because if that's all we're gonna settle for is the bare minimum, we need to pack some more things into it. Um, because I'm sorry, I'm tired of being impressed by the bare minimum, which is maybe something I need to reflect on more so for myself, but I think we need to raise the bar a little bit for the bare minimum. Um, so get ready, gentlemen. Also, men, you need to raise the bare minimum for yourself as well. You deserve to be treated like a treasure yourself. And if us girlies aren't doing that, no. There's so many of us. Go find another one. And lastly, I think this goes without saying that you should come first. And this goes for both guys and girls. You are the only person that you will be with your entire life. And if you're not right with yourself, you're not going to be right with anybody. And this is something that I need to also listen to for myself because it's really hard. It's hard to feel like self love has kind of taken a new kind of meaning with social media and everything. But genuinely, I think it's so attractive to find somebody that is so right with themselves. And I don't even have to describe what that looks like because I feel like we all just know. Like you just know they have this kind of vibe, this aura perhaps when they're just confident and they know who they are and they love themselves. I think it just screams. It screams and it's so attractive and I feel like it's contagious because when I'm around somebody that knows who they are and is confident in who they are, I think like I want to be like that myself and I feel like insecure people turn other people insecure and I don't want to be insecure. So, anyways, this has gotten really preachy and I apologize that this episode wasn't really as humorous as maybe I thought it could be. But I really thought I just really wanted to put out there that um I feel like situationships are something that everybody goes through at least once, if not twice. And if you're currently in one, I see you. I see you and I love you. Um, and also to those that have been involved with me in the past, genuinely, just all love from my end. I really appreciated our time together because obviously I wouldn't be who I am today without those people. And um, I think everything I learned obviously benefited myself. Um, yeah, that's all. That's my story for today. Um, Next episode, I do have planned to talk about. actual relationships, which again, to preface, is not going to be me calling anybody out. Um, I'm still working on the structure of that episode and how that's going to go down, but relationships is on the docket for next episode. Hopefully that one will be a little bit more lighthearted and just humorous. But that goes without saying. I don't know. I also want to just extend a big thank you to everybody who has made it this far, who's watched every single episode, and because genuinely I didn't really know how far this would go. And obviously, I mean, I know it's only episode 5, but um it's a lot harder to do than I thought it would be, and but it's fun. I'm genuinely enjoying it still. So, with that being said, I appreciate you for watching, for being here. Love you so big. Until our next chat.